pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll.
Ramkissoon. Here. Tobin.
Here.
Kleiner.
Here.
Johnson.
Here.
Jean-Francois.
Here.
Burr.
Here.
Green.
Here.
Massey is absent. President Rodriguez.
Here.
And we have a quorum.
Approval of minutes.
Tonight we have 2 minutes to approve, one from the council meeting from March 5th and the other from the meeting from April 2nd, 2019.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Johnson, seconded by Alderman Tobin to approve both minutes. All in favor? Aye. Correspondence.
Nothing this evening.
For the good of the city, anyone who would like to address the council, please step forward. You have 4 minutes.
Good evening, good evening, Susan Depew, Middletown Pride Committee. On April 22nd or 27th at 9 a.m., Middletown started its Pride Day, and we were overwhelmed, surprised, delighted, and so happy to see 500 people show up. It was the biggest, and I will say the best turnout that we've had in 9 years. And I probably am going to forget some of the people because I was at the sign-in sheet with Alderman Ramkissoon, and we could not keep up with the people that were showing up. So for those of you who are here or watching tonight, if I forget your name or your group, it's just because I couldn't keep up with it. And thank you for putting me in that really wonderful position. First of all, I'd like to thank the mayor and his family for being part of it. I'd also like to thank Police Chief Wanchu and his wife and his family. I'd like to thank Jacob Tawil for being always there for all of us. Middletown School District came loud and clear that they want a clean city. There were children and adults in every category that showed up. Again, like I said, there were so many people that showed up that they just kept coming in droves. All of the sports teams came, the ROTC, the honor students in every school, the YMCA Barracudas, the Rainbow Girls, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, Middletown Fire Department, the Lions, the Kiwanis, PCU Cares, families like the Pierces, the Kleiners, the Ogdens, always reliable for all of us. This large group was delightful to see. And Mr. Namchek and Alderman Ramkissoon and I took a bus ride, and on Linden Avenue, we saw 100 people in yellow shirts. Excuse me, Alderman Green. We saw 100 people on Linden Avenue, each one eager to pick it up. And probably the biggest thing that I take out of this was Middletown not only cares, but they don't want litter anymore. So thank you, Middletown. Very wonderful for all of you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for all the work. Anyone else who would like to address the council? Okay. Reports of department heads, economic development.
Good evening, everyone. Just an update on some of the DRI stuff. The facade program is moving along. As you go down North Street, you can see scaffolding and cranes and such and construction going on. And the next 6 buildings should be going out to bid within the next couple weeks, 2 to 3 weeks. So there'll be more activity regarding the DRI facade program. A couple weeks ago at the Paramount, we had Almost Queen. Almost Queen sold out. It was an awesome night, great turnout. We have some other events coming up. We have the Middletown Fire Police Oldie Show coming up, and we have a comedy show, Anthony Rodia. This is all happening in May. Also, the classic Wizard of Oz is going to be shown, so you're going to see a lot of people in the theater and throughout. And then also, let's not forget summer concert series, and all those programs are going to begin in the next couple weeks. So go to our website, check it all out, and we're looking forward to a great summer. That's all I have for tonight.
Much for Maria. Thank you, Maria.
Thank you.
DPW Commissioner?
Good evening, all. Just a quick reminder for our audience and everybody here. If you see potholes in there that have not been addressed, please call DPW 343-3169 and report the pothole for us. It will be greatly appreciated. Right now, we're getting ready for the milling and paving program, which means we have to go rebuild catch basins in the areas where the whole road has to be repaved and milled. So our crews are busy preparing those roads, and I believe the mayor is in the process of putting out the list for the roads that are going to be milled and paved. So that's what we are doing right now with our street department. Also, a reminder about the high grass. We all know that it's a very wet season so far, and the grass is just growing fast. So please bear that in mind and keep it in mind to cut your grass. Otherwise, you're going to start getting letters from us, and we're going to go through that vicious circle of coming over and trying to cut the grass and imposing fines and all that stuff. So please be very mindful of the appearance of your property. We appreciate that. Also, reminder: the water system is being flushed right now. We finished the second and third ward, and we are working right now in the fourth ward. And next week, or the middle of next week, we expect to be at the first ward. So again, just pay attention to the water, please, before you do any washes, and make sure that it is clean and it has settled. And let us know if there is any issue in your area regarding the water or the color, if it does persist to remain discolored. Several capital projects, I'm just going to zip through them right now because I haven't provided an update for some time. One of them to start with is West Main Street drainage project, and the project is completed, and right now they are doing just the punch list items. The second project, I'm going to go quickly. If anybody has any questions, you can please let me know. Maple Avenue drainage, the dredging has started today. And if you stop by and just take a look at it, it's specialty equipment that they are using. It's called the clamshell. That's the only equipment that the Army Corps of Engineers will approve for this kind of dredging without having to go through the process of applying for an extensive permit for the dredging. So this, believe it or not, the cost is about $225,000 in there. We had to get a change order and funding through HUD, and the county helped us in getting this money, the $225,000. So if it wasn't for this, otherwise we would have had to come up with the money ourselves. So yes, there was some delay, like the mayor explained a couple of times ago in different committees and different meetings. We waited in there. We lost some time. Yes, the park wasn't open immediately upon completion of the work. It was delayed because of the dredging. That was a change order, and we wanted to get the money rather than our taxpayers to pay for it on their own.
How long does it take for the dredging to be completed?
End of May. The target is end of this month.
So the park can be done by
shortly after. It should be within a few weeks after that. Because you're going to allow you go look at it right now. It's going to be ripped open, all of it. We have off terrain truck in there being stuck in the mud in there. It's an ugly process, but it has to take place in order to dredge the pond and lower the bottom of the pond by 3 feet.
What are you doing with the bottom of the pond, the dirt?
It's going to be a stockpile. We're going to lose it at the site.
Okay.
For regrading, we cannot. If we ship it out, it's going to have to be different, a whole different permitting process, and so that's. I'm glad you asked that question. So end of May, hopefully, the dredging will be done, weather permitting again, because it rains every 5 minutes. So it's another project is New York Rising. The mayor and I met with the New York Rising team. The plans for replacing the three-sided culvert on West Main Street by the West End Bar, or it used to be the West End Bar. There, it's 30% completed, and we have different other projects in there that the engineer is working on, and they have been submitted to New York Rising in there in order to do the environmental analysis and the environmental declaration for that project. ADA, curbs and sidewalks, the mayor and I again went to Poughkeepsie to the DOT project with the design team, and that project is progressing very nicely, and that is the $3.6 million project now. Traffic operation, the cost estimate for the traffic operation went from 7.5, I'm just going to throw it out there, from 7.5 to $17 million. And if we're going to do an adequate job with the state-of-the-art communication system between the traffic lights, which will include fiber optic cables underground connecting between the traffic, the intersections, so that certain intersections can communicate with each other. We don't want to be like Route 211 in there, the state road. No disrespect for the state, but the traffic lights, they are so uncoordinated. One will be green, will be red until you get to the next one, then the next one will be red, then the next one right by the Galleria and Walmart. So we're trying to avoid that by hopefully installing a state-of-the-art technology system for communication among these signalized intersections, and with that comes a heavy price, which is like $4 million. So that's why the money went up from $7.5 million to $17 million, and we're going to try to find some funding through the state for that. Otherwise, we may have to scale down the project or something to that effect. Heritage Trail culvert only. The culvert has been designed. We're waiting for the grant agreement to be signed by the mayor and by the DOT so that we can put the project out for bid. We cannot put the project out for bid without the agreement between the city and the DOT for funding. With that being said, Amy's Kitchen, they are moving rather fast with installing their water line and sewer lines between from the city of Middletown all the way to their facility in Goshen, and they are having to interrupt it in different places to accommodate for, say, the culvert that's not installed yet, for the bridges, for different aspects. So that's being worked out as we speak when we keep meeting with them. Today, the mayor signed the contract for removal of the debris at the psychiatric center in there, the big building that was burned down. So hopefully that project will finally move. The mayor was able to obtain $500,000 grant for this one. Woolworth building, hopefully by the end of next month, it will be completed, at least from the outside. And the inside is just tenants will have to will do their own improvement and their own, and that will be it for Woolworth building. With that, do you have any questions for me?
Jacob, just going back to Amy's Kitchen, that's like 4 miles of water, right? Lines?
Yes, water and sewer. Yeah.
They're going from Dolestown Road.
They're following basically the Heritage Trail all the way to their facility. The Heritage Trail, wherever the Heritage Trail is, they're going. Okay. Yeah.
And are they putting hydrants?
They are putting hydrants at areas in there where they are, they can be observed easily, and they can be locked in there to prevent vandalism. And
yeah, I think we should make sure they apply those locks.
Yes, absolutely. Your point is very, very well taken. Yeah, absolutely. Now, yeah.
Alderman Kleiner?
Thank you. Commissioner, I know they had Highland Avenue down to 1 lane today, O&R work. Do you have any estimate? Do they have an estimate on how long that'll take, or it'll be like that? Or
They're moving very fast. I thought the mayor have sent you the email. Maybe it did not have timing in there. I will check on it. I'm sorry.
Or your rocket email?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah. Yeah, I thought, it might be in there, the duration, but they're moving fast. And, I'll have to look at it, Alderman. I thought the mayor sent it over, but if not, we'll get some information.
I think we had a general projection, but I didn't know if there are any updates or what.
No, I don't have any updates.
Tell Second Ward people. wanted to mention the electronics drop-off day, so that,
Yes. Go ahead, please.
well, go ahead. So you can let people know. I
Okay.
think we need to repeat
No,
it a few times.
you tell me
so
because I
people-
don't have that under my points. Of,
Yeah, June 15th. so-
June 15th, okay.
Yes.
Electronic drop-off, the same thing. Last meeting, I wasn't here. Did you pass the resolution or not yet?
Tonight.
It's on-
Oh, it's tonight, okay.
Oh, it's
good.
on tonight.
Okay,
yeah.
good, I appreciate that, thank you. So it's number of items, 5, not to exceed 5, what? Yeah, not to exceed 5 items of electronics, and then you take them to DPW garage in there, and on Saturday, starting, I believe, 8 o'clock, and until 3 o'clock, but that will be discussed shortly, because I don't remember the exact dates.
Okay, thank you.
Well, you're welcome. The other thing, the black dirt sewer, that big project, about $4 million project, we are waiting for a specialty pipe that has to be fabricated. Again, it was a change order. It was not in the original scope of work. And that zinc-coated steel pipe or ductile iron pipe, so that you will not have any corrosion in the pipe and it will last. And that will be coming from Ashland, and one pipe will be coming from Knapp Avenue. Once that is done, then punch list items will be done, and black dirt sewer hopefully will be completed. But that was a major difficult project. Roundabout project, although it is completed, now we're doing punch list items. So if you go around and you see boys excavation and they're doing some adjustment and digging a little bit, that's what they're doing. It's just punch list items.
Jacob, just go back to Highland Avenue. I drove by there 7:30 in the morning, and they already had the street digging up.
Yeah.
So they might be doing it too early.
I haven't heard, I'll check on them though.
I was like before 7:30, and there was, they already had the street.
Yeah, I think they can start at 7, but I'll check on it. Yeah, absolutely. Again, potholes and high grass, please.
Alderman
Yes.
John Francois?
Yeah, let's go back to the pickup. Do we, residents still have to show up their ID
For what?
when they drop off the
For the electronics?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. We
Yeah,
just
it's
wanna make
only
sure
for
that-
Middletown residents.
Correct, okay,
Yeah, because
still have to show their ID.
there's cost associated with that, and
okay.
otherwise, people who are not residents, they can go to the county for disposal.
Thank you.
Alderman Burr?
Can you give an update on the lead pipe program?
The lead pipe, we are awarding several of them. I don't know which ones have been awarded, and Chris Gross is leading the charge on that, and some of them have been awarded already. I don't know which one,
Because
to
a
be
couple of my
honest.
constituents have application in, they would ask me, and I just said, I'll check tonight.
Yeah, I'll report to you
Could be contacted
tomorrow.
If they got the bid,
Yeah,
they'll be
call-
contacted within a couple of weeks?
Yeah, call us tomorrow if they want, or they can call you and I'll give you the information.
All right, thank you.
Whatever is convenient. Chris Gross is the guy who's handling the project for us.
All right, thank
I'm
you.
really not that hands-on on it, but I'll get you the information. If you, yeah,
Anyone else? Thank you, Jacob.
thank you.
Fire Chief?
Good evening, everybody. We had a 60-year member of the Manhagans, pass away Sunday, I believe it was. The wake was tonight, funeral's tomorrow at McPhillips. Bob was a 60-year member of the department. Bob Reynolds. We had our inspection night, May 4th. Great dinner. Thank you. And thank you to the Senior Center for hosting us there. And our annual dinner is May 11th, this Saturday. And the awards that were awarded on inspection night, for inspection night, will be announced at the dinner. Alarms for the month, we had 74 alarms for the month, and we'll be involved with the touch-a-truck at Presidential School on the 11th as well.
Any questions for the Fire Chief? Alderman Kleiner?
Yeah, I just want to commend your department on going around on inspection night. Trucks were just amazing. I mean, I saw on North Street, every time I drive by, they were out there working on that, cleaning it up. So they really put their hearts into it, so we appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Thank you, Chief. Police Chief?
Good evening. Just a couple things I'd like to just brief the council on this evening. Last meeting, I addressed our new initiative of our Enhanced Neighborhood Enhancement Unit. So it's been in place since April 15th, so we're in our 4th week. It's really starting to catch some wheels right now and get motivated moving forward. Started receiving some positive feedback from the members of the community of their problems actually being receiving the attention that they so desire. So far so good, and I just want to encourage all members of the community to reach out to us with any concerns or problems so that we have the ability to address them for you. The officers are assigned, as I said in the last meeting, there's 2 per ward, and that is their focus, to come around in that ward and resolve the specific problems in the ward. So once again, please, I encourage you to reach out to us. You could email me, call us, whatever it may be, to get your issue addressed and hopefully resolved once and for all. On April 18th, myself, members of my staff, my admin staff, and members of the department, we, as well as some of our partners from the school district, the district attorney's office, and neighboring police departments, we conducted a little event here in the council chambers. We called it a call-in event, and basically we identified some hot spots throughout the city that we're seeing some trends with some crime, and it seemed to be the same people involved over and over and over. And looking into this and drilling down a little bit further, we realized that the groups we were dealing with were teenagers and young adults. And to avoid it growing and hopefully prevent it from growing, we invited that group of individuals in with their parents. We sat in here with them and we had a heart-to-heart talk with them, explained to the parents what was going on, what their children were doing. We had some great motivational speakers that came in and really were able to reach out and address some of the issues that these young men and women were dealing with. Great event, and I really hope that it does have an impact on some of these individuals and that we could get them going better in the right direction. But I'd like to just thank all of the partners that came out and supported us that evening. It was much better attended than we anticipated. And lastly, I have on May 29th, I'm going to be hosting a town hall style meeting here in the council chambers. It'll be 7:00 p.m. Last year I did one. It was fairly well attended. Got a lot of positive feedback as concerns that needed to be addressed by the residents, and got to hear some great ideas for us to focus on. So again, May 29th, right here in the council chambers at 7 p.m. we'll be hosting a town hall style meeting. It'll be myself, my admin staff, and some other members from the department to address any concerns, issues that may have come up throughout the year. Other than that, I have nothing else unless you have questions for me this evening.
Alderman Burr? Yeah, Chief, thank you very much for the initiative. They went around my neighborhood, knocked on doors, meet and greets were very nice, and they had some speeding issues. You put up the sign for them, so thank you very much for all that cooperation. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Alderman Green?
Thank you. Yeah, Chief, we saw the release of the video from Knapp Avenue. Just want to reiterate maybe to some people that, there is anonymous ways that they can contact your department should there be any, anyone know any information. I don't know if you can speak on that.
Yes, absolutely. As Alderman Green said, this past weekend we did put out a press release showing some video and some still images of our suspects in the February homicide on Knapp Avenue. As was indicated, there are multiple ways that people can reach out to us, and I please encourage you. You may have the small, minute piece of a puzzle that we need to move forward. So even if you don't think it's that important or you don't think you want to bother us, please bother us, bring us that information. You can text us or contact us via Nixle. That is fully anonymous. We do not get your name, contact information. We could have a back and forth conversation. You can send us images, videos through that source. You could email us, you could call us. But Nixle is the most anonymous way for anybody to contact us. I will thank the public that has reached out to us based on that posting. We have received a lot of information and feedback, which has been very, very useful. So thank you.
Alderman John Francois?
Chief, is there a possibility you could give us the heads up when police officers are coming to our constituents meeting? The last time they caught us by surprise, they walked in, I thought they was coming for Sparrow. But I only kidding.
So, yes, I could try to do that. So what I've asked of the neighborhood enhancement units, the officers that are assigned to the specific ward, they're actually checking the city meeting schedule.
Okay.
And if their specific ward is having a meeting, I've asked them, as long as they're free and able to do so, to pop into the meeting so that they're here. You could address any police concerns with them. They could address the constituents or anything that does come up. So as long as it's okay with you, they're going to be coming through to the various meetings. If you prefer not to have them there, just let me know.
No,
And,
just give us a heads up. That way we can let our constituents know they're going to be there if they have more questions to ask. So that,
Yeah, so
we can
going
do
forward
so.
for the next several months, they will be attending the neighborhood watch meetings and whatever ward meetings that they can.
Okay.
Every scheduled meeting they'll try to attend?
They will try to. I cannot guarantee that their
they'll
call
try.
volume will allow that, but that is the goal, yes.
Great.
To have them involved with that specific neighborhood to hear those concerns and be able to
Thank
address
you.
them.
Anyone else? Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Superintendent of Recreation?
Good evening. The city's a busy place, and I'm going to add a couple more busy things to it. This past Saturday, we did have the ribbon cutting for the disc golf course up at Davidge Park. It was very well attended. Thank you to Alderman Kleiner, Alderman Green. I know we were in your ward, and the mayor for representing the city there. Oh, Jerry's showing off discs that were handed out to kids and residents. That is not only a great recreational new opportunity for the city, it's also an economic plus for the city. There was a whole lot of guys there playing after the ribbon cutting ceremony and after a little clinic for kids, and I'm sure they came to our downtown to use our restaurants and our breweries. So that's a great thing. There will be 9 more holes being added over the year, and I really have to thank the McCormick family, especially Keith McCormick. This was his vision. He's designed it, he's developed it, he's getting the volunteers out there, and it's a wonderful addition to our park system. The weather has been tough for our projects as well, but the drainage project, the dog park is almost done. We did have to stop due to the wet weather. We have 8 trees that were picked up by the Shade Tree Committee that will also be planted up there. Right now, we can't get machines in. If you go around to our parks right now, you will see Maple Hill, all the playground equipment's in. As Mr. Twilis says, it's just waiting for the dredging to be done and get the park back together, and hopefully we'll have that open by the end of June, beginning of July. But Bennett Hill, if you pass that, the old equipment's gone, the new equipment's in, and they're working at Jerome Neal right now. The old equipment's gone, and they're started putting the new equipment in today. After that, you'll also see Sproat Street. The old equipment will be coming out, and there'll be new equipment coming in. So you'll also see in the park small single shelters that are being built by Sean Reeser. They're fabricated by him. It'll give our small pocket parks, neighborhood pocket parks, a little spot where families can have a picnic and a little barbecue without reservations, and it will also help with a lunch program, giving us some shelter. So you'll see it's already finished at Bennett, and they're in the process of putting one at Beatty, and that'll be in 5 different locations where we don't have big pavilions. So that is also going on. Our egg hunt was canceled because of, go figure, rain. The rabbits that were all donated, things that were donated from Healy also was co-sponsoring that, and I'd like to thank Healy. You'll see in your resolution tonight, they donated $500 for camper ships for kids that can't afford camp. So that is greatly appreciated by our businesses and organizations that donate. But we did have a spring break camp, and they had one heck of a big Easter egg hunt. And lastly, I would just like to remind everybody, the Fishing Derby, which is with the Lions Club, which is very successful every year, that will be on Saturday, June 15th, right at Davidge Park, 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning is registration right there at the Lions Shelter, and that's always a great event. And that's all I have this evening.
Any question for Chris? Thank you, Chris. City Clerk.
I have nothing this evening.
Any question for John? Thank you. Public hearings and grievances.
Okay, tonight we have a public hearing for an addition to the zoning code to add light manufacturing of dairy foods. Notice is hereby given that the City of Middletown will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, May 7th, on or as near 8 p.m. as possible, Common Council Chamber, 2nd floor, 16 James Street, to hear any and all persons wishing to be heard on the proposed amendment to the zoning code 475-23, Light Industrial District, to add Section 1, the Code of City of Middletown, New York, Chapter 123 zoning, as adopted March 27th, 1967, and amended to be hereby further amended by adding paragraph 29 to subsection B, using requiring issuance of both a special use permit and site plan approval by the planning board of section 475-23, I-1 Light Industrial District as follows: 29, light manufacturing of dairy foods, provided that such manufacturing is fueled only by oil, gas, or electricity. A full copy of the proposed addition to the zoning code was available in the city clerk's office, room 12, 16 James Street, and on the city website. And in all persons wishing to be heard will be given an opportunity to speak either for or against the proposed addition to the code. This is by order of the Common Council, and it was John C. Namchik, Clerk of the Common Council. This was published in the Times Herald Record on 4/25 and 4/26, and also on the city website.
At this time, the public hearing is now open.
Yeah, I can address the public hearing. The request is coming from my office and through Maria's office, the Economic Development Office. We've had a few inquiries regarding this type of business. Apparently, these are small businesses. The last two inquiries come out of Brooklyn. One very successful, long-time business. They're looking to relocate up here. And after meeting with Alex Smith, he put that special language in there. This is not like the yogurt factory type of thing where there's outdoor pools. These are minor, no emissions, basically. It's a lot of mixing versus emissions. Of course, they would have to comply with any discharge into our sewer system, but it's a low-impact use, and it seems to be a target market that we might have some success in. This specific business will be making ice cream was the proposal, but the current zoning only allows for it in I-2 or I-3, and with such a low impact, we felt it was appropriate to add it into the light industrial zone. The resolution was drafted by Alex, keeping in mind that we don't want a heavy industrial impact in the I-1A zone. We felt it was good not only for the businesses we're talking to, but also for future attraction of this type of small family, 8 to 10 employee type business.
Anyone from the public would like to address the council? Anyone on the council? Alderman Kleiner?
Yeah, it's right. Just a comment, because the concern always with dairy and stuff is always about odor and emissions, and since you've addressed that and can accept that small business, there won't be emissions. And I know the planning board, for people who worry about it, the planning board is always very diligent about asking about odors and
any of those issues will be resolved at the planning board level. But this, the way Alex has drafted the resolution, it doesn't go into that large scale with, like the yogurt company that we were talking to with outdoor pool or whatever it was called. None of that is under this. This is this company that we're talking to, but this is not. I don't want to give you the impression that it's just for one company. But this is what triggered it was the making of ice cream. For example, we can't make ice cream in a light industrial zone, so we put that in there.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else on the council? Can I get a motion to close the public hearing?
Moved.
Johnson, second by Alderman Tobin. All in favor?
Aye.
Public hearing is now closed. Remarks to the mayor?
Good evening. I'd like to join the chorus that I'm sure we're going to have of thanking Sue and all the volunteers for the fantastic turnout on April 27th. It really was amazing, especially on the cold day, and that well over 500 people I know turned out. I know, John, we signed, I think, 300, or printed 300 of the compliance, or the what are those certificates called again for the kids? The credit, school credit.
The credit.
Yeah, community service. And I know you got to go back over to City Hall to print up more.
Yeah.
And that's just for the kids that were looking for the community service credit. So it was a great day, and they did a great job. And I want to once again thank Sue, her family, and all involved. We did join the chief and his assistant chiefs on inspection night. We got to see the new truck, I think it was the Monhagen truck, in action at the Central Firehouse. Just a reminder to people that the parade is now every 3 years, so the inspection night was changed to May. And that's a choice of the fire department, not a choice of me or anybody here. That was a choice of the fire department to do it every 3 years. And we had a good time. It's required by charter that we do an inspection. We did complete it at each firehouse, including the fire police, and I think all would agree that everything was in order in above average in above average conditions. A couple small problems at the firehouses, but they should be addressed by Mr. Tawil. A reminder to the public that race season is starting, so you're going to get some street closures. Ruthie Dino, Orange Classic, Run for Downtown in August. Please sign up for Nixle. You can be in touch with what's happening in your community to be aware if there's going to be a street closure, not only for water and sewer breaks, but also for race day. So please either sign up or go to our website, or if you have any questions, please call my office and we can assist you in letting you know when the closure will be happening. Which leads into the paving program. We did send out letters today. I'm advising people of the streets that were designated for paving. The overwhelming majority of them are areas where Orange and Rockland has been doing work. And so the letters did go out. I know some people have not had their street paved, they believe, and extraordinarily much longer than they would like it, but we need to get the trenches, the streets where trenches are with Orange and Rockland done. That they've moved up on the priority list. So we do have a multi-year paving program in place, and we hopefully will get to your street in the next year or so if it's not on that list that will be submitted to the Common Council. The census, very important that we all participate in encouraging people to participate in filling out the census. As you know, not only is the apportionment of the congressional folks important for New York to keep our congressional delegation intact, but on a local level, it's important for our sales tax distribution. Excuse me. After I saw the article in the paper about possible additional resources for Newburgh for the census count, I did contact Senator Schumer and Senator Gillibrand and Congressman Maloney. I believe I copied the council on the correspondence. All three have responded back that they will be making the same pitch for Middletown and Port Jervis for additional resources for cities. Obviously, that's where the larger undocumented population live, and we need now to reach out to Nobody Leaves Mid-Hudson. I think Alfredo walked in to make sure that they participate with us in getting those census forms filled out when they do come out. An undercount, Mayor Decker from Port Jervis felt 10 years ago that the Port Jervis census was an undercount. And Port Jervis has lost $200,000 a year in sales tax funding distribution because of that sales tax formula. We actually went up almost 11% in population from 2000 to 2010, so we received a bigger chunk of that pie. But this next few years, 10 years, we could easily go in reverse if we do an undercount and don't count all the people that live in the city of Middletown. So anything you folks can do, Caitlin in the Economic Development Office is coordinating with the Census Bureau. We're going to have an upcoming meeting with them arranged by our representatives to talk about literature and about what they're going to do to help get a fair count in Middletown. Jacob touched on the 17 million versus the 7.5 million for the estimates. You know, that will be a multi-year program. The program that we've been presenting, we're pretty confident we're going to get the funding, but we're going to start this year with $11.6 million, or no, actually $13 million of sidewalk funding and intersection funding and traffic signal funding in 2019, 2020. So don't be scared by the numbers. This is all federal and state money. It comes through the TIP program. As you know, we cooperated with Port Jervis on the Neversink Bridge, where we shifted an allotment because we weren't ready to go out with our project at the time. And I'm sure other communities will be cooperating with us as we move forward. Our projects are ready, they're engineered, and will receive a very favorable rating from the state as we move forward. But we will be seeking that additional money. As you know, the TIP program comes with a 20% local match, but I think, Jacob, it's called the Machicelli Fund, in which we receive an additional 15% from the state. So that $7.5 million is only a 5% local match. So we're going to take as much as we can as long as the program is there. So for every, $10 million, we're costing us $500,000. So I think anybody in the room would take that kind of deal. So we are in the process of preparing the applications for the consolidated funding application. Marie and I and Caitlin will be attending a meeting, I think, either the end of this week or next week with the Regional Economic Development Council to prepare. I think I presented to you one application that we will be submitting will be the proposed parking facility, and we have a couple smaller projects that we're looking at doing. And Maria's been talking with small businesses about the possibility of them doing their own private application. We are not eligible for the DRI because we did win the 2016 funding, but we are going to be active this year in the consolidated funding application. And I think that's all I have, if you have any questions.
Any question for the mayor? Alderman Johnson?
Thank you. I had two questions. When you referred to the grant for the community campus cleanup, where does a grant like that come from? From what?
That was under the Restore New York program. That is through the governor and the state offices. I think it was $500,000 on that grant. Those are all applications that either I or our consultants or Jacob, or Maria's department, make on our behalf. We submit for, we talk about the ones we win, we don't talk about the ones we lost,
sure.
but we do submit for quite a few. And this, although it did not come with a matching requirement for the state, it was a direct grant, but the project, as you know, is over $1 million.
Right.
So it required local funding to complete the project, not to receive the grant.
Well, thank you for all. I mean, as we do with the state of the city, it's a tremendous amount of money that comes into the city for the grants. We appreciate that. I just wanted to clarify with the census process, when does that start? When does it finish?
They're here now.
Online, or how do people?
According to Congressman Maloney's office, the Census Bureau they made some changes this year, and that's what generated the article and the paper. The Census Bureau has made some changes. Not everyone's as clear on what they're going to be doing from the census side.
Right.
Traditionally they've opened an office in Middletown. Last year, 10 years ago, they opened an office in the town of Newburgh rather than the city of Newburgh, and they felt that they had an undercount because they didn't have a presence in the city of Newburgh. But so we will be meeting with them to get all that criteria. Caitlin has been in touch with them. I don't remember her name, but she has a contact person there. A lot of it is literature education. They identify properties that are vacant to make sure that the census does not come in with a count on a vacant property, and that's what they're doing right now. They're here now. They're representatives, but we're having a meeting very shortly with them.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Alderman Kleiner.
Mayor, we did have a meeting with the Heritage Trail Advocates.
Yes,
There,
I forgot
Mr.
all about
Brooks.
that.
Can you give us a quick update on the Heritage?
Sure. It was scheduled to go out to bid. I haven't talked to James Brooks, but it was scheduled to go out to bid May 1st. Jacob reported on the culvert project, and I did follow up on we haven't been able to bid the culvert project yet because there's some issue with the grant money that Senator Metzger did get involved. Everything appears to be okay. It's just a matter of the local planning committee getting the proper paperwork to the bidding, to the appropriate people. There's supposedly no hang-ups on the culvert. It's only a $300,000 out of the big picture, but it's moving ahead. The pipe is in on Amy's. I believe some of the bridge work has possibly started. James Brooks from the county has done a tremendous job in moving the project very quickly since he became the commissioner of recreation, and they expect, with good weather, to work through the winter as much as they can, And I was hoping they'd be to East Main Street by the end of the year, but it looks like by early next year, they'll be to East Main Street. But those are the out dates. But I also sent an email to Senator Metzger's office today confirming our conversation from last week and asking her office, I sent it to Max Cordella, to get involved with Mr. Brooks and to see if there's any other issues that are going to be delayed that she can possibly navigate for us. So I'm sure that I gave the number, gave his cell number. I threatened to give it out here a couple times, but I gave him the cell number, and he hopefully have been in contact with them.
Very good. And one other thing, is there any update on the courthouse?
Yes, we had a meeting with the local court folks, me, Jacob, both judges, Girton and Brockett, and the court staff. And it's still a big project, much bigger than we're prepared to ask Middletown residents to put up. It's still about a $6 million plus project. I gave them our attorney, Mr. Smith's interpretation of the court mandate. Both sides want to make it work, and we're looking at other funding sources. So we're going to have another meeting with the regional court folks and see what can be resolved. We are doing outreach to all elected officials about additional funding. We are not prepared to pay $6 million to put another courthouse over there, especially when a lot of that money is making a room that's 9 feet wide, 9 feet 6 wide. And that's the ridiculous part of the plan. So, or the judge's bench doesn't meet state standards because it was a federal judge's bench. That's, of course, very minor, but it's the big picture of the operation. We asked the court to, they need a larger facility. We pointed out to them, well, why don't you just schedule differently? Rather than have everybody show up at 8:30 in the morning, where you need a 100-seat courtroom, why don't you have 20 people show up at 8:30, 20 people show up at 9:30, and so on and so forth. And that way you don't need a 144-seat courtroom. So those are the discussions we're having, and we'll continue to have, but I am not going to go to the Middletown taxpayers and say, we're going to spend $6 million on a new court facility when we have operating courts now. For all I care, they can continue to use the Common Council chambers, which they are using now, and it's meeting their needs.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
Anyone else? Thank you, Mayor.
Thanks.
Remarks of Alderman Tobin.
I'd like to thank Sue for another successful Pride cleanup and all the volunteers. If you Google, if you weren't able to make it, if you Google trash tag challenge, there's a social media challenge where you take pictures of an area of your neighborhood that's full of garbage, clean it up, take the pictures afterwards, and post it to social media. Maybe you could inspire some other people in your neighborhood to clean up, or some other millennials. So thanks again, Sue.
Alderman Green.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I'll echo that, Sue. Thank you so much for a wonderful day. You do a lot of hard work, and it definitely pays off. You're right. When we pulled on Linden and saw 100 some odd people there in green shirts, it was like a little army going through the streets. So, I hope not only that it was just that day, but that it's inspired a lot of those 500 people that were there to really keep an eye out and check on it. I also attended the Faytian spring concert that they had at the Paramount. Was amazing. Absolutely blew me away. The Parks and Recreation, Cormick family, the disc golf course. I can't wait to get out there and really try it myself. I was already on online looking at the starter kits for disc golf, because, man, some of those guys had some kits out there that were amazing and really professional. So I encourage everyone to go out there, take a look at it, and watch some people play if you're ever wondered what it's like. They're really, really amazing. Thank you to the fire department for hosting us. I did promise the fire police that I would just mention, I know Maria already mentioned a little bit of it, but the Fire Police's 25th and final oldie show featuring the Eternals, Larry Chance and the Earls, and Shirley Alston Reeves. That's going to be Saturday, May 18th at 3 p.m. at the Paramount Theater. You can see someone with the fire police about tickets, or you can get them, I believe, at middletownparamount.com. So you can get the tickets there as well. Also with the fire department, the Ontario Hose Company and the Excelsior Hook and Ladder Company are going to be hosting a Mother's Day flower sale this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at both the North Street and Central firehouses. If you get a chance to come on down and support the fire department and get some really nice plants. And happy Mother's Day to all. Thank you.
Alderman Johnson.
Thank you. I'll thank Sue as well. Yes, there were 500 people, but you are the facilitator of the project. You're the face of the project, and that you've maintained your momentum is remarkable, so thank you again for that. Also, thank you to Chris. You gave a relatively short report, but a tremendous amount of things taking place in your department, and we appreciate that. We're rocking and rolling. I do attend the school board meetings on behalf of the council from time to time. I just want to remind people that the budget was adopted on the 25th. They proposed a $193 million budget. It represents a 2.387 increase in the tax. And the final budget hearing is May 9th, and the vote is 2 weeks from tonight on our council meeting, May 29th. So pay attention, attend the hearing if you choose. From my perspective, they've certainly done due diligence, and I think we get a remarkable return for our investment in our public education system in the city of Middletown. Thank you.
Alderman Casell.
Good evening. As for, I have to put in my 2 cents about the cleanup, it was amazing. Sue, again, your passion, your energy drives this whole event every single year, so it really doesn't happen without you as our cheerleader and our you are the reason this happens, and I'm really happy to work with you every year. Our ride through town, it is remarkable. I mean, what can you say about this community who come out in droves in bad weather? So I don't know why we can't get a sunny, hot day for the cleanup. It's been years, but they come out, it's cold, there's threatening rain, it doesn't matter. They're there, they're out, and working hard. I mean, some of the areas that they cleaned needed a lot of work, and they put in the time and the effort, and I appreciate them all. A lot of them were kids that I work with at the school, and I can tell you, because I know you asked the question, Sue, of, how do we make this something that we don't have to do at this level every year? And, changing a culture and changing a mindset of a community is a big undertaking, but these kids who were out there, who then came to me and were, Miss Katie, I saw you. I said, no, I saw you. And, they were, surprised by the amount of garbage that they had picked up, that, people, I think we just become desensitized and don't see, but they saw it. And now they're aware, and they're not going to throw their trash on the ground because they liked what they saw when they were done with their work. So you are making progress here. And I know you asked that question, and I just want you to tell you that it is effective. And we thank you for that. Maple Hill Park, the equipment's there, everything is moving along. I'm excited to see that project come to an end. And Jacob, my thanks for all your work too, and the mayor as well, to make sure that these things get funded and that work can be completed, both for the residents and for just the area in general. Our ward meeting was a couple of weeks ago, and Chief, we did have our neighborhood enhancement officers for the 3rd Ward attend, and they were great. It was well received by the constituents who attended, and they're excited and happy to have just a more laser focus on our particular neighborhood. And by doing that, I think that they better get to know the community that they're serving and can address those issues because of their simple familiarity. I can't say the word familiarity with it. But that's all I have this evening. There's Neighborhood Watch next Tuesday, 7 p.m. in this room.
Alderman Kleiner.
Thank you. Alderman Massey's not here tonight, so we all get to talk a little bit longer. Sue, thank you. It was inspiring. We asked every community to come out, and we've had the council chambers full a couple times for some issues, and we asked that community to come out, and they came out in strength. So it just was an amazing show of Middletown spirit, and that's the main thing. I'm glad we got our city cleaned up and we care about it, but it's people caring about Middletown, period, that was so encouraging. So Thank you, Sue, and everyone else involved and everyone who came out to help. Thank you, Chris, and the disc golf, it's really something watching. We saw a hole-in-one. It's just amazing to see someone put one of those discs at angles and go between the trees and go around and hit that basket. But if you get on Google and you Google Fancher Davidge and Fancher Davidge Park and disc golf, you have an amazing amount of different websites that, do different disc golf courses and rate them and rank them. And so Middletown really is on the map because of that. So, Keith McCormick, but all the sponsors and all the volunteers. So thank you very much. Next Monday, May 13th, will be our second ward constituents meeting. So please come out for that. And then actually I believe May 11th is the Monhagen Brook cleanup. That's from 11 in the morning to 2 p.m. So that'll be over by ShopRite and Dollar General. So, if you can come out and help, that's another way and another area that really needs the attention. Mayor, good luck with the parking garage, because boy, you look around Middletown and you go, we really are going to need it, and I hope they get the message. But as we've always said, it's a good problem to have. So again, happy Mother's Day. Thank you.
Alderman John Francois.
Yes, good evening. What can I say, Sue? Y'all done yourself all over again. Thank you for your effort and everyone else that was involved. It's a great effort. I got to say, I'm proud to be part of that event every year. It's getting bigger and bigger in front of our eyes. Thank you once again. In respect to our firefighters inspection the other day, you guys looked so good. Everybody was very respectful, tempered, and no disrespect to New York City Fire Department, but I'm tired of these guys making the calendar every year. I think you guys should be on the calendar next year. Thank you.
Alderman Burr.
Yeah, I'd like to thank Sue, John, and Chris, all very involved in the Pride Day. And it's all about pride, and that's what we've seen on Saturday. And that's all I have this evening, and thank you.
New business.
And we have a resolution sponsored by Alderman John Francois to accept the bids for the water pipe and gray iron castings for 2019.
Sponsored by Alderman John Francois, seconded by Alderman Green. Any discussion? Roll.
Graham Cassoon?
Aye.
Tobin?
Aye.
Kleiner?
Aye.
Johnson?
Aye.
John Francois?
Aye.
Burr?
Aye.
Green?
Aye.
President Rodriguez?
Aye.
Resolution passes. Resolution sponsored by Alderman Burr to accept the donations in the amount totaling $500 for summer camp scholarships.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Burr, seconded by Alderman Tobin. Any discussion? Roll.
Graham Cassoon?
Aye.
Tobin?
Aye.
Kleiner?
Aye.
Johnson?
Aye.
John Francois?
Aye.
Burr?
Aye.
Green?
Aye.
President Rodriguez?
Aye.
Resolution passes. Resolution sponsored by Alderman Johnson to concur with the mayor's reappointment of John C. Namchek as city clerk, registrar, and clerk of the Common Council of the city of Middletown to a 3-year term ending May 31st, 2022.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Johnson, seconded by Alderman Kleiner. Any discussion? Alderman Johnson.
I just want to say, I've been on a couple of committees. I've been here about 5 years. I work with John on a regular basis. He's a great babysitter. He's a great mentor. He keeps me out of trouble, and I thank you for that. So,
Thank you. I don't know about the babysitter, though.
that was for
You do a lot of my work. Anyone else?
I be the baby.
Roll.
Graham Cassoon?
Aye.
Tobin?
Aye.
Kleiner?
Absolutely.
Johnson?
Aye.
John Francois?
Aye.
Burr?
Aye.
Green?
Aye.
President Rodriguez?
Aye.
Resolution passes. Thank you. Resolution sponsored by Alderman Burr to authorize the mayor to sign the Summer Youth Employment Program worksite contract with the County of Orange to obtain summer youth workers.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Burr, seconded by Alderman Tobin. Any discussion? Roll.
Graham Cassoon?
Aye.
Tobin?
Aye.
Kleiner?
Aye.
Johnson?
Aye.
John Francois?
Aye.
Burr?
Aye.
Green?
Aye.
President Rodriguez?
Aye.
Resolution passes. Resolution sponsored by Alderman John Francois to schedule an electronics drop-off date for the city residents on Saturday, June 15th, 2019, under the same conditions as previous years at the DPW facility at 76 Monhagan Avenue.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman John Francois, second by Alderman Kleiner. Any discussion? Roll.
Brent.
John Francois.
Thank you, Commissioner, for making that happen every year.
Anybody else? Roll.
Ram Kasoon?
Aye.
Tobin?
Aye.
Kleiner?
Aye.
Johnson?
Aye.
John Francois?
Aye.
Burr?
Aye.
Green?
Aye.
President Rodriguez?
Aye.
Resolution passes. Resolution sponsored by Alderman Tobin to authorize the mayor to sign the 2018 intermunicipal agreement with the County of Orange for the amount of $10,000 awarded to the city of Middletown for costs incurred to compensate those instructors and participants during the Alert Active Shooter training.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Tobin, seconded by Alderman Johnson. Any discussion? Roll.
Ram Kasoon?
Aye.
Tobin?
Aye.
Kleiner?
Aye.
Johnson?
Aye.
John Francois?
Aye.
Burr?
Aye.
Green?
Aye.
President Rodriguez?
Aye.
Resolution passes. Resolution sponsored by Alderman Burr to authorize the mayor to sign a proposal to provide traffic engineering services to access the impacts associated with the proposed football field and track adjacent to Fandra Davidge Park on Monhagan Avenue.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Burr, second by Alderman Green. Any discussion? Alderman Kleiner.
I just want to mention that this was something that I think the state DOT required us to do, so that's why.
Anyone else? Roll.
Ram Kasoon?
Aye.
Tobin?
Aye.
Kleiner?
Aye.
Johnson?
Aye.
John Francois?
Aye.
Burr?
Aye.
Green?
Aye.
President Rodriguez?
Aye.
Resolution passes. Resolution sponsored by Alderman Green to authorize the closing of Highland View Place at Oak Ridge Road and at 39 Highland View Place for a neighborhood block party Saturday, June 8th, 2019, from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Green, second by Alderman Kleiner. Any discussion? Roll.
Ram Kasoon?
Aye.
Tobin?
Aye.
Kleiner?
Aye.
Johnson?
Aye.
John Francois?
Aye.
Burr?
Aye.
Green?
Aye.
President Rodriguez?
Aye.
Resolution passes. Resolution sponsored by Alderman Kleiner to amend Resolution 7519 on 4/16/2019 to change the date of the events for the New Beginning Church Man Up for God at 11 Mulberry Street.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Kleiner, second by Alderman John Francois. Any discussion? Roll.
Ram Kasoon?
Aye.
Tobin?
Aye.
Kleiner?
Aye.
Johnson?
Aye.
John Francois?
Aye.
Burr?
Aye.
Green?
Aye.
President Rodriguez?
Aye.
Resolution passes. That's all for new business.
Audit.
Mr. President, I move the
Wait,
accounts be
I'm sorry.
audited.
No,
You say audit?
We have a motion from the floor.
Motion from the floor.
Motion
Alderman
from the
John
floor
Francois.
that the common council of the city of Middletown authorize the chief of police to have temporary hold detour of traffic on Janung Street and Stanton Street on behalf of the Guerrera Hudson Valley Sikh Cultural Society of Middletown on Friday, May 10th, 2019, between the hours of 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. for the event.
Motion by Alderman John Francois, second by Alderman Ray Cosell. Any discussion? Alderman John Francois.
I think, John, you have Stratton Street, it's Stanton Street. You got to spell it S-T-R-A-T-O-N. It should be S-T-A-N-T-O-N.
Anyone else? After I appoint John, now you're trying to kick him.
Thank you, Alderman. I'll remember this.
Don't worry about it. Alderman Kleiner.
I'm just curious if we're closing Janung for, a couple hours on a Friday morning, what this is about, or, I mean, it's for a festival, but does anyone know if people will be able to get by at all, or if they have to take an alternate route going out?
They're going to have to be an alternate route. It's a religious facility asking for, I think, what is it, 2 hours? 2 hours.
From 10 to 12.
10 to noon.
Yeah.
Buses are for.
We do this for everybody else.
Exactly.
Anyone else? Roll.
Ram Kasoon?
Aye.
Tobin?
Aye.
Kleiner?
Aye.
Johnson?
Aye.
John Francois?
Aye.
Burr?
Aye.
Green?
Aye.
President Rodriguez?
Aye.
Resolution passes.
Audit.
Alderman John Francois, am I good? Good to go on this? Mr. President, I move the accounts be audited, the claims be adjusted, and the city treasurer be authorized to issue warrants for their payment.
Resolution sponsored by Alderman Johnson, second by Alderman Green. Roll.
Rem Kassoon.
Aye.
Tobin.
Aye.
Kleiner.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
John Francois.
Aye.
Burr. Green.
Aye.
President Rodriguez. Resolution
Move
passed.
for adjournment.
So
Second.